So the reality of the situation is we're in a state of undeclared war with Russia already. And I don't think that's going to change. I think it's going to become more serious. So there will be more provocation. So there'll be more cyber attacks. There will be more drone incidents. There will be more sabotage. Open warfare, no. And I think that the Russians are going to conduct this without a direct confrontation. And they do have the means developed over many, many years during the Cold War to conduct what they would refer to as grey warfare. And I think that's the problem. And I think the problem will get more serious. And those countries which are closest to the front line, like Poland, will be the more exposed. And the problem is that if you take something like drones, the aerial defenses of NATO were not constructed to deal with a drone threat.
I mean, it's such a new threat.
Yeah, so everybody's scrabbling now. I mean, the irony is that, you know, the world's experts on drone warfare, the Ukrainians.
That's what I was going to ask you about next, is you have this statement from Zelensky, which is very interesting, saying he is happy to send advisors, and he said he is sending advisors to European nations to help them tackle this issue. But that's a much more strategic and transactional approach we've seen from Kiev. What's your take on that? Do you think he's learning a little bit? Do you think he's adapting?
Well, I think he's beginning to adapt. And the irony is now that Ukraine will become an arms exporter.
Because of their drone technology?
Yeah, and the West actually are beginning to pump money into the Ukrainian own armaments industry because they're going to be the main exporters. And they've developed techniques, defenses, capabilities, which the Europeans just don't have.
Out of necessity. I mean, you know, war always invents necessity.
Yeah, I was speaking to someone recently who has a chip manufacturing capability, which is in Western Europe. I won't be specific about where it is. And he was saying, using their technology, the Ukrainians can fly these drones through a car window at 900 kilometers.
That's insane.
900 kilometers.
That's insane. There's this push from, it's Estonia and I think Latvia. A couple years ago, they had asked for basically a drone defense wall on the NATO border and kind of been pushed off. And as early as last year, they asked for it as well. And now that proposal is being reconsidered. Is that at all viable, some sort of a drone barrier? Or do you think it has to be more strategic than that?
My understanding is it's technically possible.
Okay.
And it's technically possible at a reasonably low cost.
That's what I was going to ask, is it's expensive.
Yeah, the extraordinary thing is, you know, you're not talking about an Iron Dome, which is, you know, the hors de prix. I mean, really off the charts, completely off the charts. This can be done relatively cheaply, relatively quickly, but you've got to have the will. And I mean, if it's the smaller countries, they have got to have financial help, whether it comes from the European Union, or it comes from NATO, or it comes from, let's say, the bigger economies in Europe who are worried about dealing with the generality of the Russian threat.